Claustrophobia. It is described as an abnormal dread of being enclosed or narrow spaces, or as a feeling of discomfort and/or discontent caused by being on a limiting or restrictive situation or environment. And why am I explaining all of this? I have no idea, but we're going to talk about caves today, and I thought it fit the theme of the video. How's it going, everybody? My name's Trem, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about something related to analog horror. It is an indie horror game that came out a few weeks ago. It is called Cave Crawler. It has this low poly graphic style, as if it was a PS1 game, and I thought that it'll be interesting to take a look at it. Anyways, without much further ado, let's get right into the video. As soon as we hit start, we are received by this notice that reads, Cave Crawler. After acquiring the mining rights to the area in 1992, Rockwell Mining Group was alerted by local park and forest services to a missing persons report near the entrance to the company's property. The following footage showcases the use of the Cave Crawler, a newly patented survey drone developed by RMG. RMG is Rockwell Mining Group, by the way. The interesting thing about the gameplay, and that could be said it breaks the mold, is that it makes you use the drone to go through the cave, instead of, well, a person going down there and dying. You may be thinking that it takes away a bit of the tension, but it compensates it in other ways, like with the sluggish movements of the camera and the speed of the drone itself. Currently, the drone is located at 400 meters into the cave, and our objective is to find the missing person. The drone is also equipped with an analysis function, so any strange occurrences that we may find down there, we have to analyze them. At first, we find traces that suggest that the missing person may have taken this way, aside of the usual Minecraft cave noise. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. Upon further investigation, we find some red crystals surrounded with a strange red substance, and after scanning with the program, it detects it as the missing person. And out of the sudden, the footage cuts off here. Then we have another notice that reads, Discovery. After testing the Cave Crawler for approximately 4 hours, he was able to locate the missing hiker's body in a cave containing a crystalline structure. After further study, RMG discovered that the crystals are a highly dense energy source, rivaling the output of current-day nuclear energy sources. After discovering a new potential fuel source, RMG required a deeper exploration to locate additional crystal deposits for further testing. The following footage was collected by the Cave Crawler 22 hours after a major cave-in trapped RMG mining personnel within the cave. And so, the drone is sent again. I'll say that since the last time, at least a week has passed. Judging by the fact that they already sent personnel to mine these crystals, we are still at 400 meters deep, and the objective is to count the remains of the mining personnel. Finally, we found what looked like one of the bodies, covered in blood, and something carries it away from the view of the drone. Here we start to notice strange movements inside the cavern, and the amount of crystals that we found is even greater, which gives us a hint that they didn't grow here by natural means. We also catch another cave-in that leads deeper into the cave, where we find another body. The last body we find is surrounded by crystals, and we catch a glimpse of the structures growing before the footage is cut. I think we already have an answer of why those crystals were of that color. A bloodish color. And here we have another notice that reads, Harvesting. After searching for 2 hours, the Cave Crawler was only able to locate the bodies of 3 of the miners still intact, alongside personal equipment of the remaining 12. Upon further examination, the recovered bodies provided important medical data on the crystalline structures, beginning as small spores. Once contact has been made with a form of biological material, the crystals will begin to grow by converting the biological matter into energy. After implantation, small crystalline formations will begin to appear within the first 24 hours, with crystals reaching full maturation after 24 hours. Beginning at 0800 hours, seismic detectors register the slow build-up and vibrations deep within the RMG pit. After 2 localized seismic events, contact was lost with the feeding team. At 0900 hours, the Cave Crawler was deployed to locate the missing team members. And that part talking about the spores could explain the red dots and the reddish coloration of the cave. This time we can also see that we already descended to 675 meters. Also, I want you to remember the mention of the feeding team, because it seems that that was exactly what RMG was doing. Inside this closed bag were living people. Drugged and unconscious probably, but alive nonetheless, and the team that got trapped in here was feeding them to these spores. in hopes of producing more crystals. The cave had changed too. It became more reddish and porous, with these disgusting tendrils sprouting from the walls. Upon further examination, the drone finds an unknown liquid and more bodies inside. Some of them return a text on the scanner. A mistake was made. Well, it seems that the feeding team got turned into food. We see a gigantic opening in the cavern, and another of those closed back with tendrils growing from it. Then we see a couple of crystal clusters. I guess we found the rest of the staff. These bodies were in the meat of crystallization. Little by little we find the rest, and once we find them all, a rumble interrupts the transmission. And at last we have another notice that reads, "The following footage is for internal use only. Unauthorized use may result in major fines and/or a penalty of up to 65 years in prison. Internal report, UF0001. The following footage was collected from Rockwell Mining Group after the results of agents' redacted investigation into the origin of the earthquake. RMG was immediately subpoenaed for further documentation regarding records of the mining site. Upon review, the following footage is believed to be what caused the disaster." And we see a gigantic chasm ripping across a small town. Let's take a look of what that footage exactly is, and yeah, this is definitely not a cave. We see that the crawler is currently at 910 meters on the ground, and we don't know how much time has passed between this and the last expedition. The tunnel is full of tendrils and spores circulate everywhere. Each crystal that we analyze down here has the name of a person. As we move forward, our suspicions that this was a living being are confirmed. We descend another 10 meters and we find a bigger opening with huge tendrils growing on the sides. And as we try to analyze it, Anaya looks straight into the drone and the transmission ends. Yeah, I think that was the thing that caused the earthquake. To wrap this up, we also have two hexadecimal codes. In the UI of the drone, if we decipher the longer one, it says find the core. And well, that's more or less what we do when we find the eye. And the yellow one in the bottom says ocean. This covers a bit more sense when we see the last notice. Internal report. Conclusion. Upon further investigation of the provided material, and under the order of the current Director of Homeland Security, RMG has been contracted to continue a study of the caves under the direct supervision of Dr. Redacted. And lastly, internal report UF0002. Following the conclusion of internal report UF0001, reports of similar geological incidents have been received from monitoring stations, indicating events at, and it gives us 4 coordinates. The second one is redacted, and we're not sure if this is the location of the mining site, but if we try to locate the rest of the coordinates, the first one is in the middle of Alaska, the third one is in the middle of Whitewater Bay in Florida, and the fourth one is in the middle of the North Atlantic, between Greenland, Iceland, and Ireland. I don't know how the hexadecimal code that said ocean can relate with Whitewater Bay and the middle of the Atlantic, and what does exactly have to do with the other locations, but this is all I have for today. What do you guys think about Cave Crawler and all this mystery thing? Let me know here in the comments down below. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. Remember to leave a like, hit the bell button, subscribe, and all that stuff. My name is Trem, and well, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.